Welcome to Through the Drama. Chris Harrison and Lauren Zima with you. Happy Wednesday, everybody. LZ, we have a packed show. We have a lot of drama to get through.
Yes, so we're going to dive right into it with a brand new segment that we are calling, What Are We Doing? And what this is it's news headlines that make us ask, what are we doing? So we're going to start right off with something out of the Cannes Film Festival. Cannes, of course, incredibly famous festival, major stars there every year, set in France. And ahead of the start of the 2025 Film Festival, the Cannes Committee has issued an update on the red carpet dress code. Mm-hmm. They are banning full nudity. What are we doing? Why did we need to ban full nudity?
Leave it to the French to say, we're going to ban nudity.
This is so baffling to me. This festival's been going on for decades and decades, and they're just now saying this. Why do we need to say this? They've also banned, quote, voluminous ensembles.
Yes.
And this I actually have an issue with from a fashion perspective. Right. They don't want women to wear like trains anymore on the dresses. They don't want anything that's going to clog up the carpet.
It seems very broad. Who decides I am the voluminous police?
Right.
I will decide that's not voluminous. That is. And yeah, the long 9-mile trains. And this actually affected Halle Berry, right?
Halle Berry said she is going to Cannes this year, and she said she changed her dress. Hey, I admire her being so respectful. And she said she understood the nudity ban. I just can't believe.
Don't we all understand the nudity ban?
What were they worried about? And now I actually have specific questions. Is it only full nudity? Like sometimes you see people in a sheer moment, a little purposeful nip slip. Will somebody like a Kendall Jenner be asked to leave the carpet if they're going with the nipples? I don't know. What can we do?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
You have one from your world.
I have one that torn from yesterday's headlines. Major League Baseball, which is really struggling lately on so many fronts, has now shot themselves in the foot again. The commissioner, Rob Manfred, who's not done a fantastic job, announced yesterday that he is lifting the ban on those that have been banned from the Hall of Fame, including Pete Rose. Infamous case. Pete Rose, who gambled on baseball for some 15 years, received a lifetime ban. Well, apparently, when you're dead, it's okay. The commissioner of baseball said, when you die posthumously, you are lifting the ban and you can now be eligible for the Hall of Fame.
What are we doing?
This is the most cowardly, silly, ridiculous move ever. Several commissioners have come subsequently after this ruling came down a long time ago where Pete Rose was banned. There's the famous Black Sox story. Shoeless Joe Jackson,
yes,
obviously from the Kevin Costner movie, became famous. They were banned from the Hall of Fame.
Field of Dreams?
For Field of Dreams, okay. Cheating on baseball, cheating and fixing games. And so now they're saying Pete Rose, who passed away last September, is now eligible.
This is one of those things that, again, actually made it to me through the sports zeitgeist. I know who Pete Rose is. I remember that he died just last year. So I turned to you yesterday and said, wait, didn't he die? This is very sad to me because so what now his fame, like it's right. Like he had this career and yes, obviously he made that mistake, but now he can never see himself be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
His family campaigned, even Donald Trump campaigned to get this overturned. Rob Manfred, the commissioner, said, no, we are not going to do that. And he says now, oh, okay, he's dead. It's okay. So now if he still gets elected, because now he still has to be elected by the sports writers and all that. So it's still a long shot. But if he did, now his family has this bitter pill to swallow of dad didn't get this when he was alive. We'll do it now and put his picture in the corner of the Hall of Fame. It is such a horrible look, a cowardly move. It's just so silly. Why are you doing this?
Your what are we doing is more upsetting than mine.
Yeah, it's really, it's a bad look for baseball. It's a terrible look.
It is. And let me impress you. Baseball is really struggling right now. I know this.
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
So I think what hits me a little more about this is the death part of it. The fact that he just died last year.
Yeah, last September.
Makes this much worse, much more, it feels like a dig actually, instead of like, I don't think that they meant it that way, but it feels meaner because he just died a few months ago.
It's like, oh, now that you're dead, we'll give you this honor. It's disrespectful. It's cowardly. It's just terrible. I'm not sure what he thought he would accomplish. I'm
Well-
not sure what he thought in this meeting. I'm sure he had that, I think this will be great for baseball. We'll let all the dead people now into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, it's kind of like Field of Dreams.
It is like you're right. Maybe that's what maybe he watched Field of Dreams.
He was like, I've got a great idea.
Someone whispered to
This
Rob
worked
Manfred.
for Costner.
He was asleep and someone goes, ease his pain.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on from one bad PR move to another.
Oh boy.
So, you may have or may not have heard that there was a live action version of Snow White that hit theaters. I say you may have heard of it because it was such a disaster. You may not have heard of it because it made no money at the box office. It was a box office bomb, starring Rachel Ziegler and Gal Gadot. And the reviews weren't too bad, but nobody went to see this movie. So Disney's idea or solution to this, apparently, we really all missed this. They re-released Snow White in theaters over Mother's Day, thinking that it would help somehow rescue this total failure of a film. What are we doing? Let me give you the numbers. In some theaters, only 17 tickets were sold. Over Mother's Day weekend, it only made about $335,000 over 1,000 theaters in a re-release.
Many theaters were completely empty. You know, Rachel Zegler, the star of the film, who bashed the original and bashed the role of Snow White, trashed the movie before it came out. This has been an epic disaster. So Disney says, let's double down. Let's do this again. Disney, what are we doing?
All right, everybody. Thank you for the What Are We Doing love. And we will be right back with some things that are going right in Hollywood.
Welcome back to Through the Drama. Kris and Lauren with you. All right, LZ, look, Hollywood had some misses, and there is the what are we doing? But then there's some that are hitting it out of the park.
There's the savior, I think he's become known as. Tom Cruise is promoting the new Mission Impossible movie on a level that he tops himself every time. I don't even think we knew this was possible. So this new movie comes out next week, May 23rd. And he is going full force to the point of almost dying.
Yeah, this is Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, not to be
Yes.
confused with Dead Reckoning. You know, this movie was taped, it coincided with Dead Reckoning 1, and it was going to be Dead Reckoning 2. Then Dead Reckoning 1 didn't do that great. It was mixed
I'll be honest,
reviews.
we saw it. We were a little disappointed. We were excited for it.
In their infinite wisdom, they decided to hit the pause button and they pushed it a year. So instead of last summer, it's now called Final Reckoning, and they pushed it a year so we'll all kind of forget what happened with Dead Reckoning.
Except for you and I who are
Yes.
bringing it up right now. But we got to give Tom Cruise credit. Listen, I think this is a case where you have to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
People have a lot of questions about his background in Scientology, maybe not just questions, but issues and concerns, his personal life. But like the man has at this point proven himself so much with how much he's kind of single-handedly saved movies after the pandemic. He did that with Top Gun, the sequel.
Yes.
We can give him that honor.
Top Gun Maverick.
So then he came out with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. It didn't do that great. And like you said, made the smart move. Now, Final Reckoning is coming out. And the press run he is on is wild. But first, I want to go to this brilliant way that he releases the behind the scenes of the stunts.
Right.
And he does this in a way no one's ever done, where he releases the how we did it so that then when you go see the movie, you're like, oh my God, and that's what they did. Let's look at this footage of him throwing himself out of a helicopter.
Yeah, the idea is in this scene, and he talks about it, how the idea of this crazy stunt is he's going to be spinning out of control, has to release a parachute to save himself. And he told the director, while he's strapping on this camera that's going to shoot him, I'm going to continue to fall out of this helicopter time and time again until I can get faster and faster and faster so it looks great on TV. So he did this so many times to get this shot. Everybody agrees. There are some mixed reviews on Final Reckoning, but there are no mixed reviews on the fact that this guy does his own stunts and puts himself in peril for his movies. We saw in Dead Reckoning the shot over and over where he flew on a motorcycle off a mountain and then would parachute onto a train.
Yeah, I don't know which one. I mean, to me, the thing about this one is you hear him in that clip say, it is going to be scary. Like we're going to push it to the point of where we're not
Out of control.
Yeah, out of control. And listen, Tom Cruise loves movies. Like the man studies movies. He is a workaholic.
He says he watches a movie a day.
Okay. Well, we need to start. I need to do better. But he studies stunts and lighting and all these things. I once had to do a shoot for ET where I did a skydiving. It was actually a bachelor shoot. Becca Kufrin jumped out of a plane. And we're at this skydiving place outside of LA. And they said, oh, Tom Cruise is here all the time. Yeah. They're like, he just comes here and just skydives all the time to be good at skydiving. So I need a new hobby, something stronger. But like you said, listen, maybe mixed reviews, but a lot of good reviews for Final Reckoning. I'm excited for it. I love a night at the movies. And I do want to read this one review. Journalist and BAFTA member Simon Thompson said, quote, it is whip smart, razor sharp, tense, with sphincter tightening set pieces.
Sphincter tightening.
God, I want to go to the movies to get my sphincter tightened.
The other, I don't think you do that at the theater. The other thing that.
As long as I have room for popcorn.
The other thing that Tom Cruise does that's brilliant is really promotes these movies. He talks directly to the IMAX theater owners. He gets his movies in on the big screens, on the most screens, and then he goes out and promotes these movies. He was just seen in London on the BFI Theater. Nobody knows how he got on top of the BFI Theater, but this went viral as well, of just Tom Cruise standing up on top of the theater. He sells his movies. He is in the trenches, on the buildings, doing the work to sell this movie.
I would guess this that we're looking at is his idea. Like, and
sure.
This is promotional material. This is how he promotes a movie. He doesn't just sit for a junket interview. Variety, like you can see in the shot here, Variety tweeted and wrote, quote, it is unclear how he got there.
Right.
Like, we don't know. I think they probably had to throw him out of a helicopter to wind up on the top of that theater. There's no like hole for a ladder or anything. Tom
Cruise is about to be right here in the Lone Star State. They announced he's coming to Texas. This is brilliant. He's going to show up in San Antonio next Wednesday on the eve of the premiere of his films. You know, you have the midnight showings on essentially what is Wednesday night, Thursday morning. He's going to show up in San Antonio, show up randomly at theaters. Nobody knows where, make his way up to Dallas, where he will pop into theaters throughout the state of Texas just to promote this movie.
I feel proud that he chose us. I don't know why he chose us.
I don't either.
Maybe because Texas is giving more incentives for filming than our good old California. Thank you, Texas. We appreciate you. But my question to you now is, how excited are you for this movie?
Look, I'm all in. I'm a Tom Cruise guy as far any Top Gun movie, the Mission Impossible movies. It's like James Bond. I know what I'm signing up for. I'm not going to these movies and breaking them down like Siskel and Ebert. I know what it's going to be. It's going to be a 2 to maybe 3 hour, I don't know how long this movie is, thrill ride, sphincter tightening, if you will. And I'm all in for these movies.
The thing is, you and I both love going to the movies, and it is something I worry this next generation is losing. Like, we were talking to somebody about dating the other day. It used to be an easy second, third date. Let's go see a movie. And it's an experience. It's communal. I love watching a movie in a crowded theater, a comedy or an action movie, and experiencing that with people. And I thank Tom Cruise for cherishing that experience and for wanting to bring it back. I think we might go see this one on IMAX.
Mission Impossible Final Reckoning drops next Thursday in theaters. LZ and I will be there.
Babe,
okay.
If you're being honest, you kind of cried when the Top Gun sequel came out.
Oh, I've watched it 5 times.
So many times.
I love Top Gun Maverick. By the way, I love Miles Teller, who we're about to talk about.
Okay, so we're from the 8th Mission Impossible movie to some brand new concepts. One thing I've been worried about in the movie world is originality. We live in a time where IP, intellectual property, is king. Sequels, reboots, remakes from TV shows to film. And I think that Barbenheimer, summer before last, proved people do want new and original content, okay? Maybe our industry, just maybe, is listening. These are a few of the new movies coming out with, by the way, big stars attached. These are not just indie projects. First, there's a new movie, a new vampire film with Elizabeth Olsen and Oscar Isaac and Kristen Stewart about 1980s vampires and one who seduces people into her cabal of 80s vampires. So like, okay, like that's not too wild.
I can do 80s LA.
I like that. Let me get into what's next. The next film starring the most recent Best Actress Oscar winner, okay? Mikey Madison, this is her next film after winning for Honora, is called Reptilia. It also stars Kirsten Dunst. And babe, I would love for you to maybe give me like a movie trailer VO for this movie
Mr.
concept.
Big Voice. Welcome to Reptilia. Reptilia tells the story of a dental hygienist who is seduced by a mysterious mermaid into the dark and wet underworld of Florida's exotic animal trade.
This is real. I thought it was a joke when I read it. A dental hygienist seduced by a mermaid into the world of like Tiger King? What?
But this is only to be topped by this next one.
Okay, the next one is starring, hey, your Top Gun Maverick guy, Miles Teller.
I love Miles Teller.
Please read us the description for Possum Song.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Possum Song. This film will follow a musician who stole the songs for his hit debut album, so he strikes a dangerous bargain with a magical possum to help him write a new song. Miles Teller is teaming up with a magical possum.
I'm so like not interested in seeing either of those movies, but I love that we're getting back to originality. You know, it's a little bit 90s actually. Remember how in the 90s it was like all about kind of magical animals? We had the Flipper movie and like the Seal movies and Free Willy. Maybe we're just circling back on that. Let's get back to the good old days.
Yeah, let me digest
possum.
Let me digest Mission Impossible, then I'll worry about a magical possum. All right, when we come back, LZ, there's some things that I think you need to know for this weekend.
Welcome back to Through the Drama. We are winding down by taking you through what you need to know this weekend. We've each prepared something because as much as we have in common, we live in slightly different worlds. And babe, I always love if we're going into a party or something and you give me a couple, like if you're playing in a golf tournament,
right?
That's a better example. And I want to go there and support you and I'm going to have to chat with people. I like when you give me a few things to say. Yeah. Also, because I like to see the look on people's faces when they're like, how does she know that?
Some people call it mansplaining. And I think that got such a negative connotation to it that sometimes we do need a little helpful explanation.
Well, let's change it because mansplain is a negative. It's a bad thing to do that. So how about a good splain?
Good splain.
Can you give me a good splain?
Yes, this is a good splain. Coming up this weekend, what you need to know, LZ, is that the second major of the year is happening on the PGA Tour.
I knew it would be about golf.
This is the PGA Championship begins tomorrow at Quail Hollow in North Carolina. LZ, there are 4 major championships. PGA Championship is tomorrow. What are the other 3?
The Masters.
Yep.
The U.S. Open.
Oh my gosh. Come on.
The Golf Awards. What's the other one? The British Open.
You got it.
Sorry, that was loud. I screeched.
That is amazing. Yes. So this is the 4th major. This is definitely, the PGA Championship is kind of the redheaded stepchild of all majors. It is the lesser of all 4.
Why is it such a loser?
Well, the Masters is probably the top, arguably the top. U.S. Open right there. If you asked a PGA Tour pro, what would you want to win? It would go in that order: Masters, U.S. Open, definitely the British Open or the Open Championship, as they call it.
Why is the PGA such a dweeb?
It just is. It's just the lesser of the 4.
Is it the newest
one?
But
it's still a major, so it still very much counts. Here's what you need to know. You don't need to know that it's the lesser of the children.
No, I'm going to tell everybody. I know this one sucks.
Yeah. Rory McIlroy is the heavy favorite. He just won the Masters, completed his career Grand Slam, which was amazing. Only 6 people in the history of golf have ever completed that career Grand Slam. So he has a chance to now come in with house money. He loves Quail Hollow. He's the heavy favorite. Another side story is that Jordan Spieth has the opportunity to complete his career Grand Slam if he wins, which is kind of cool. If 2 guys do it in the same year, that's pretty remarkable.
Is this the one where Scottie Scheffler got arrested last year?
Oh my gosh, yes. Now, will there be as much drama as last year in Louisville when Scottie Scheffler got arrested by an overzealous cop early morning when he was pulling in and they didn't
on his way to play?
Yes, no, they didn't realize he was a player and a cop kind of dove in his window and it just got out of control. He ended up in jail the day that he was supposed to tee off in the PGA Championship. He made his tee time. He was stretching in jail and made his tee time. Yeah.
Now the problem is the PGA is going to have to top that this year.
I don't know that the PGA, it's pretty boring, pretty straightforward.
Take one for the team.
Who's going to get arrested this year?
Rory, Rob something?
Yes.
Jordan? I don't know.
Okay, what do I need to know?
Okay, I have a what you need to know because I think all of the wives like me at home who are watching their husbands or partners watch golf, I'm going to give you something to watch, okay? Here are my top 3 shows that you can be watching during the many hours of golf. First of all, Industry on HBO. If you haven't been watching this show, my girl Marissa Abel just won a BAFTA award for it, much deserved. And it is a sexy show, you guys. You know how sex has been kind of like pulled out of TV and movies?
Yes.
Okay, they're hooking up on this show.
Okay.
It's fun to watch. It's kind of like Succession meets like a Desperate Housewives kind of a deal.
Great tease.
Highly recommend.
Okay.
Second, Mobland on Paramount Plus. Yes, you might have to get another subscription service, but it has all the Yellowstone stuff. Mobland, you have got Pierce Brosnan, Tom Hardy, and the English countryside. It's like Pride and Prejudice meets
Helen Mirren in it too.
Yeah, but I'm like talking about sexy stuff. I mean, my girl Helen, absolutely.
Yes.
I would say it's Pride and Prejudice meets The Godfather.
Wow.
But what is also good is at the end of the golf, you guys could watch this together.
And by the way, I've been watching Mobland with you.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm all in.
Excellent
It is
show.
fantastic.
Highly recommend. And number 3, the new season of 90 Day Fiancé. You want to talk drama? There is a couple on there, married with kids, trying to become a throuple. I don't think it can work, but maybe you will. Let me know your thoughts on the new season. Thank you. That is what you need to know. Industry, Mobland, 90 Day Fiancé. Check them out and enjoy.
While maybe your significant other is watching golf. What you need to know also is that we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back every weekday for Through the Drama right here on Dr. Phil's Merit TV. And you can also find us where your favorite podcasts are found. We'll see you next time because we have a lot more drama to get through.
Thanks, everybody.